Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Ready to take your nursing career to the next level? At Global Nurse Pathways, we're here to make your dream of working in the U.S. healthcare system a reality. From expert NCLEX exam preparations to personalized consulting and relocation support, led by the incredible Dr. Alice Nalondo, who holds a Doctor of Nursing Practice and is certified as a family nurse practitioner and a psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. Our team delivers top-notch training to help you answer the NCLEX exam. Once you pass your NCLEX exam, we will connect you with the US-based recruiting agencies, setting you on the path to an amazing career in healthcare. Ready to get started? We're just a call or a message away. Call or WhatsApp us now at +1 346 328 1110 for the US or +260 961 875 081 for Zambia or email info@embehavioral.com. Let's make your dreams come true together. Global Nurse Pathways, transforming careers, changing lives.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. It is Saturday, February the 1st. All right, we've already entered February here. The year is already just going by. We have an amazing show for you today, and I have a surprise for you. Here's the surprise.
I gotta be.
Hi, Mansa.
Hi, Honorable. How are you? Wow, I'm the surprise.
Yeah,
wow,
yeah, the
I'm
surprise.
surprised too.
Yeah, everybody, you know Mansa. She's the host of Speak Your Truth, and she's going to co-host this show with me today. She's actually responsible for finding and bringing the guest today. Huh? So I know you guys are snoring, it's freezing, everything else to do with the cold. How are you doing as a family?
We are doing great. At least today we have a heat wave. It's gonna be 50 degrees, and it's a heat wave in Indiana.
50 degrees heat wave, right?
It's a heat wave in Indiana. It's been really cold.
That's cold in Dallas. That's cold in Dallas.
Oh, that's a heat wave in Indiana this time.
Okay, I know. President Lele is probably shaking her head and saying, Nathan, 54 is cold.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So today we have an exciting show, and we have a gentleman who has a compelling story to tell. And we've done this before, but this things to do with alcohol and drug abuse, Mansa.
Yes.
But today we are coming from a different angle because we are speaking to a gentleman who has come out of this. It's a personal experience. We're not just talking about people who try to help others, but he was an addict himself. And ladies and gentlemen, we present to you let's say Evangelist Brian Chishimba is a mental health advocate and a licensed counselor. He is the author of 2 books, Triumph Over Alcohol and Addiction, and the second one is Proven Code. Brian, welcome.
Thank you very much, Pastor
Kama and Mwansa. Greetings to you and greetings also to listeners. I'm excited to be on this program.
All right, let's welcome Brian, everybody.
Welcome, Brian. Thank you
Welcome,
for
Brian.
doing this.
Welcome,
We
Brian.
appreciate you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Brian, to begin our conversation, we're talking about issues to do with alcohol and drug abuse. We know that in everything anybody does in life has a beginning and there is a first encounter, right?
Hmm.
Mm,
At what stage in your life did you have the first drink and
yeah,
experience with drugs?
yeah. The first time I took alcohol was actually on Independence Day on
Okay.
24th October. Yeah, it was at Eucharist National Technical School in Livingston, where at grade 9 I got very good grades and had high academic vision, which I had. And of course, what caused on that day was peer pressure.
Mm.
Friends introduced me. I was invited. I went in the room and found friends drinking. And then they called me, come and taste some. This is something good. This is water of Alivida. It makes a coward brave. So,
It
so I said,
makes a coward brave.
yes, it makes a
Okay.
coward. So come and
Mm.
taste. So, and I used to call myself Brave Brigo. So I also wanted to show them that indeed I'm a brave man. Let me take
Mhm.
this. And I didn't want to show it that I'm a failure in life. I
Or a
cannot,
coward.
or a coward, yes. So I
Mm.
took and got drunk. That was the first time. And it was so exciting. I felt so happy. I was able to even talk to a girl I used to admire in my drunken state. Yes, on that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did she know that you were drunk?
Yes, yes, she knew. She knew that I was drunk because she told
Uh,
me that you're smelling beer.
and
And
what did you say?
hello?
When she said you're smelling beer, and how did you respond?
I refused. I said, no, I'm not smelling beer. I've just come here to come and express how I feel about you. Because that was an opportunity. I never used to talk to her. But now this
Uh-huh.
time I had courage. But little did
Okay.
I know to the extent this drinking would take me. That's that
Mm.
when I took that alcohol, because I knew that once I'm caught in school, I'll be suspended. So I was looking forward for the closing day so that I can go and drink again. And of course, when the closing day came for term 3 in grade 10, and I was just 16 years old, that was the first time I drank, the second time I drank again.
Mm. Wow.
So, Brian, actually, you answered most of my question that I wanted to ask um, about peer pressure drinking and drinking, especially in schools and the youths.
Yeah,
Um, Also, I want you to, with your experience,
yeah,
you have already established that peer pressure is very one of the most
yeah.
actually thing that people get to starting to drinking, especially our young people and in schools. How about loneliness and drinking?
Yeah, but there are so many causes. If you want us to go to the causes of alcohol and drug addiction,
Mm-hmm.
factors which can predispose one. Basically, we look at the biopsychosocial model of factors. What I mean by biopsychosocial, it is a
Mm-hmm.
model which was founded by a psychiatrist, George Angel, in 1977. He says that a person who is struggling with alcohol and drug addiction, the causes must be biologically, meaning a person may be suffering from depression, a person may be suffering from HIV, the person may
Oh.
be suffering from cancer. Now, because of that hopelessness within them, feeling like they will die, and now they will need something because they'll get depressed. And alcohol is an antidepressant as well as most drugs. So you find people who now resort to drinking because of that biological factor, that medical illnesses. And the other aspect which falls under biological factors is, of course, the genetic predisposition. If your parents or one of the family members was abusing
Mm-hmm.
alcohol, it's likely that it will flow, the genetic will flow even to the offspring. They are likely also to get addicted to alcohol and drugs. So those are biological factors. Now there are also psychological factors.
Okay.
Psychological factors like mood disorders, psychological factors like trauma related disorders. Maybe you've been traumatized in your growing up, you've lost your parents, and no one had explained to you. Like in my case, both my parents died when I was just about 6 years old, and
Okay.
before that they
My
divorced,
condolences.
and I was
Mm.
raised by my grandmother. So you see, when I was growing up, I had unresolved questions. I would ask
Okay.
my mother. Uh, I've never seen my mother, and no one was there to explain to me. So, in such scenarios, you discover that even when you grow, you may suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder.
Disorder.
Yeah,
Mm.
because
Mm.
of that, and which can lead you to drinking, and you may just start. You make a decision to drink, but now the more you drink, you
Mm-hmm.
reach tolerance levels, and now you get addicted. By the way, addiction is a brain disease. WHO defines addiction as a chronic brain disorder which is relapsing in nature and characterized by compulsive drug seeking despite adverse consequences. So what happens is that you may make a decision to start very first day to drink, but in the process, it's no longer about your decision, but it has everything to do with your compulsion. So
Wow.
the other
Wow.
factor now is the social factors. So social factors is where we find the loneliness,
Mm.
boredom, yes. So where we find the divorce, financial pressure, loss
Abuse.
of yes. So the causes of alcohol and drug addiction are biopsychosocial. So
Mm.
yes, so
Biopsychosocial. Mm.
yes, biologically, psychologically, and socially.
Mm.
Yes.
Interesting. Mwansa, Bran is really breaking this thing down. I want you to zero in onto your second point of where it's got to do with family. Okay.
Mm,
So you've already alluded to it a little bit, but I want you to explain and go a little further to say your family environment. Especially the
Mm-hmm.
point where you say you were always asking the question,
Question.
"Where is my mother?" and nobody gave you that answer. So
mhm.
talk about the role, the extent to which your environment, the family, and the unanswered questions growing up as a child played in
In the
your becoming an addict.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, family support is very important, especially in times of addiction. And again, because when a person gets addicted to alcohol and drugs,
Mm.
uh, as long as the family have not received what we call psychoeducation,
mm-hmm.
education to, to teach them, to explain to them what alcohol and drugs can do. As long as no one has explained to them, they will not understand, and they will be thinking their family member is drinking as a result of just bad behavior, and not knowing
Carelessness. Mm-hmm.
not knowing that the major cause of that alcohol and drug addiction is a disease. So as long as they do not understand that this is a disease, they will always look at it like it's a character flaw. So they need to be explained to the family. They need to, because the family are the best people who can give that moral support, emotional support for a person who is struggling with this condition to recover. Family
Now,
support,
who is supposed to explain to the family these things,
Yes.
Bran? Ah,
it is us, the practitioners. We are
okay.
supposed now to, yes, we are supposed to go around and share this knowledge That's why we are always sharing this knowledge. By the way, I'm also one of the guest panelists who comes always in, on ZNBC, Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, every
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, 21 hours. We discuss especially the family role in helping a person who is struggling with alcohol and drug addiction. So you
That's good.
discover that the family, they'll call you, Iwechi Brian, you are
Mm-hmm.
Chakorwa. There's nothing you can do in life. So what you do, because that you are already stigmatized by your family, so you go to your friends, and when you reach out to your friends will start this support. Hey, Wapondo, hero. So you are better off with those people who are praising you than those
Yeah.
who are condemning you. So you discover that as long as the family doesn't receive this knowledge on how to help, they will always be condemning their relatives and chasing them away, mm, to go
Mm.
and continue. Like uh, when you look in my case, and of course, again, I don't want to blame the family because addiction is a complex issue. It makes the family not understand that this condition is relapsing in nature.
Yes.
According to medicine, it is defined that it's a chronic brain disorder which is relapsing in nature. Oh, by the way, all mental illnesses are relapsing in nature.
Image.
Yes,
Mm.
they are relapsing in nature. So what we treat symptoms. So that you do not exhibit those symptoms and remain in remission. So substance use disorder is a mental illness. By the way, mental illness is not just being mad. You talk about mood disorders, eating disorders, neurodevelopmental disorders. Under neurodevelopmental, you have autism spectrum, intellectual disability. You talk about personality disorders. You talk about sexual disorders, and also psychotic disorders, and also substance use disorders. So all these are mental illnesses, and they are relapsing in nature.
Did you
So
just say sexual disorders as well?
sexual disorders, yes, like
Oh,
erectile dysfunction, yes,
mm.
failing to attain orgasm, those are sexual disorders.
Lelo. Lelo.
Wow.
Those are mental illnesses. Even
Mm.
eating disorders, binge eating disorder, where you are just eating. Sometimes when you eating shima
And then
or eating solid, you feel that the food doesn't go to your stomach but goes to your heart. So you stop taking solid foods. You just want to be taking liquid stuff. That's an eating disorder.
mm,
It, because
schizophrenia. Yeah. Mm.
no, schizophrenia
Schizophrenia
is
is also a
under
disorder.
psychotic. It's under
Mm.
psychotic disorders.
Oh,
That I
I
was
wanted to
explaining.
say bulimia. Sorry, I wanted to say
Yeah,
bulimia.
yeah.
Yes,
Bulimia
from what
nervosa.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
a eating
Mm.
disorder. Yeah.
Okay.
So Brian, let me first you just did mention something about family calling you you want to fetch chakolwa no drunkenness no chi dranky or actually at one point as I was according to the economist report
Mm.
President HH and the Garin Koma, who I tried to get to yesterday to get his comments on this. When he called me today, it was at 12 a.m. I couldn't answer. He he was calling Zambia's being a drunk nation, and they called we these junkies are too much. Just that
Mm-hmm.
laboring of from the highest
Mm-hmm.
authority in our economy to call the people that are going with that are dealing with this disorder as junkies. Do you think I would even want to go to places to get help? Because they would treat me, even in the hospital, they would just treat me as a junkie. What do you think? And this is the leaders, our president and our secretary of whatever development, they are calling these people that they're supposed to help junkies. That is also just like a negative start to the conversation of trying to help Zambia, which has got a 76% of alcoholism at this rate, as I read of yesterday.
Yeah. No, I think just to add on those before I answer your question, just to add on the statistics which I know.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
number one is 70. There's a research which was conducted by the primary healthcare
Mm-hmm.
on illicit alcohol, and it was suggestive that 71% of the alcohol which is consumed in Zambia is illicit. And
Wow.
yeah, and the
Illicit meaning?
illicit alcohol which is not brewed in accordance with the regulations of the laws of Zambia, meaning
Okay.
it has avoided tax. One, it is not brewed in accordance with the safe environment. They have not licensed because we have here the Liquor Licensing Act. You have no license to brew that alcohol. You have you are distilling illegal spirits, and people are taking that alcohol, and
And
there's no
also,
clean.
Brian, adding substances that are not
Yes,
healthy
and also
for
adding,
human
yes,
consumption. I saw
wait,
your interview with Dr. Dora Celia, where
yeah,
people died because they
yeah,
made this with black polish.
yeah, in southern province, yeah, people in southern province, they were adding black polish, methanol. For example, methanol, there are types of alcohols. So types of alcohols, there is methanol, there is the ethanol, there is propanol. The difference is the carbon atom. For example,
Mm.
methanol has one carbon atom, ethanol has two carbon atoms, propanol has got three carbon atoms as it goes. So ethanol is the only legal drug which I say penetrates the blood-brain barrier and also causes damage to the neurons.
Mm.
It's good that the World Health Organization came out with a full force during their 2024 in December meeting. They said there is no safe limit for any alcohol consumption. I liked that statement which was given by them. But now, getting back to what Monsat asked, 56% as at 2023, 56% of the illnesses which are attended to at our largest mental health facility, which is Chinama, which I also was there as a patient at one time. Um, the cause is alcohol and drug abuse.
Mm-hmm.
And look, so we have, there's a problem, meaning there's a problem. So now, in our country, the laws which we have are very good.
Mm.
We start with the Liquor Licensing Act, which regulates it has very good laws. It even says you cannot open a bar in your residential areas or near the church. So the laws in the Liquor Licensing Act are very good. We have the Psychotropic Act, um, governed by the Drug Enforcement Commission. It is very good. We have the National Alcohol Policy, which was also established in 2018. It's very good. And we also have the drug policy. At least I attended when it was being launched, and it is also very good. So now, the problem which is there is, which I can safely say, is enforcement.
Okay.
Zambia
Mm-hmm.
have good laws. We have got perfect laws such that if they are put in place in a nice way, I think we are good to go. But I can safely say we are trying, even as the government. When I look at the government, I have seen they are doing all necessary moves to make sure that this thing is worked upon, and they have looked at it that of course alcohol and drug addiction is a problem, and they are working hard to see to it. And we pray that the laws which are there, our good laws, will be
Mm.
enforced nicely so that a lot of people can also get back and live sober just like me. Like we are
So,
explain, I struggled with alcohol and drug addiction for 14 years, and in that struggle, I lost employment in the government. My wife, first wife, divorced me, and because of making wrong decision in my drunken state, I encountered in multiple sexual partners and also contracted HIV, and I suffered depression, attempted to commit suicide on several occasions. One of them was at the Copper Belt University when I failed to write my exams. I felt like an academic failure and went on the first floor, threw myself, hit on the ground, and had my front teeth, these teeth you are seeing, they,
mm.
they, they got broken, as you can see. You see?
Wow.
These are just dentures. They got
Wow.
broken when I hit myself on the ground, and I was admitted for 3 days at Quito Central Hospital. When I came out, that's how I left CBU. But thanks be to God that even 18 years after, I realized the potential to go back to school. Last year, I
Mm,
concluded with a degree in mental health and clinical psychiatry. And today,
mm.
as I'm speaking on this program, I'm celebrating more than 8 years, 9 months alcohol and drug sobriety. And not only am I
Excellent.
celebrating this, I
Mm,
have now remarried to an HIV negative person. And because I was open to her, so she was put on pre-exposure prophylaxis, and myself, I am also adherent to treatment such that I have attained now U equals U. I cannot transmit the virus to my wife, and my wife, she's also protected, and we are blessed with the two more children who are HIV negative. So it's
mm.
a marvelous story. It's a story of change, a story of hope. So as long as we are not concentrating, we are not talking about this problem, then we will not have people to testify like I'm testifying.
Yes.
So I
That's
love
right.
this program, and I've liked it so much that we are able to talk about it.
That's right. That's right. All right, everybody. Amazing story, Brian. As we continue our conversation, let's take a commercial break here, and we shall come back and hear more what Brian has to share.
Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Our guest this morning is afternoon, evening, wherever you're watching from, is Brian Chishimba. He's a former drug and alcohol abuse addict, and he has an amazing story to tell. My co-host here, Mwansa, so far so good. Those of you, so far so good.
So far, so good and very informative and very educational.
It
And
is.
I hope our community can just take this from my take, from what
Mhm.
Brian says. It's about when family are not educated. But where do you even start as a family to say, I need to be educated about this person who's a
Mhm.
junkie and I'm not a junkie? There's all this stereotyping, and to hear what Brian said about that, I
Yeah,
think that was
exactly.
very powerful.
There's also the component of stigmatization. And Brian, are you ready for us? And there is the component of stigmatization. You have said some very strong things. Some very strong things. Okay. Everything okay on your end? All right. No, we can't hear you.
We can't hear you. The volume.
Oh, are you able to get me?
No, we can't.
Hello?
Okay. There's also a humming sound in your background. Take care of that, and then we shall get back to you for that commercial that I played
Mhm.
about the leadership retreat. It's happening on 15th of February. It's a Saturday. It's an all-day event. It's not just for pastors. If you're in any leadership position, you're welcome to attend. It's free of charge. Just show up, and we're going to be sharing some amazing things. Uh,
We'll
I'm
have a virtual online, like people can travel.
we're working on that. We're trying to see if we can beam it on social media platforms, and I'll be speaking about the power of social media. That's what I'll be talking
Oh,
about.
perfect.
All
Pastor
right.
Nathan, one thing I wanted to share about Brian said something.
Mhm.
about how all these good laws that we have in Zambia
Yeah, like he
is
said, we have very good laws.
very, but unfortunately,
Mhm.
as even the UN did a review on the most countries in Southern Africa that drink,
Mm.
Zambia is the first, second to South Africa. That is saying a lot. I lived in South Africa for 6 years,
Oh,
and
wow.
Zambia is number one. So
Mm.
we are, aside of having such good laws, we are surely missing on some fundamentals of implementation.
Yeah, we surely are. Brian, are you there?
Yes, yes. Are you able to get me?
No, we can't hear you. Your volume is low.
And you've moved your position, your lighting.
You should have stayed where you. What happened to that position?
Because I needed to charge my laptop. It was getting off.
Okay, we can't hear you.
Are you able to get me?
We cannot hear you. For those of you that are watching us, if you are able to, Brian can be found on Facebook, or you can reach him on Facebook. Just search for Evangelist Brian Chishimba, and he'll be able to help you. Your picture is everything is good. It's just your sound. Your sound is not good.
Okay.
Maybe try to remove the earpiece. Try to remove the earpiece and just use the laptop as is.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't Wheeling, I got to meet Brian. We have a psychology group that we
Okay.
talk about mental health on
Yeah,
what's
you told me
yes.
about it.
That's
So,
how come I met Brian, and he is just such a force to see
mm,
somebody who has been through so much and to come and turn his life around the way he's done, and then take his story, because it takes a lot of courage, especially when we're talking about
mm,
alcohol
yeah,
and drug
keep
abuse.
talking once.
Yes, when we're talking about drug and alcohol abuse, and I'm feeling for Brian because I've really studied more about his progress and everything. So he was introduced to alcohol at school, one of our
Mm.
highest schools in Hillcrest.
Yeah, I know. I know,
So
right?
what about
One of the most prestigious
prestigious schools?
technical schools in the country.
So my question, Honorable, comes up to say, what what regulations and enforcement do we have? There was a time I went to Kateta Secondary School myself for a term and a half.
Mhm.
The teachers didn't care if you went to school or not, as long as you bought them powers number one.
You bought them what?
Powers number one.
What's that?
It's the same as Kajiri Jiri.
Brian, we can't hear you.
I would love for Brian to talk about that when it comes on there. And this is happening, especially in a lot of boarding schools.
No, we can't hear you. Mm.
Yeah, so we have a very big problems because this alcoholism, it's a drop in the mouth, then the second drink and another one, and especially in schools. Once it's done, our youths in Zambia, even the production that is being done, we are losing a lot of productivity as a result of this.
Hello.
Imagine
There is a humming sound in your
the background.
there's something technical that's going on with your laptop. We can't hear you. Okay. Listen, this is what we are going to do. I'm going to stop this. We have to start
Yes,
over again.
yes,
We
yes.
have to start